If you're over the age of 60 and you're training for an Ironman and you're not happy with your progress, there's a good chance it's recovery which is the issue, not your training. It's the most overlooked part of Ironman training after 60. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what simple changes you can make that will enhance recovery and give you more returns for your hard efforts in training. Now here's the problem. Naturally, training for an event like an Ironman is going to produce a lot of fatigue. That's what happens when you do high volumes of training. And that's okay if you've got the right recovery, but if you haven't, the likelihood is that you're going to get run down, your immune system's going to get suppressed, and then what happens is that you get a slight cold, a sore throat, and it interrupts your training. No problem if you stop, but if you keep going, then that gets worse and you've got a bigger interruption. The alternative to that is that the high volumes of training put a stress on your body which lead to niggles and aches over time which develop into an injury like a calf strain or Achilles tendonitis, and again you miss training. If you're really unlucky, you get injured and you get ill at the same time. Either way, the result is the same. You miss training. Now the truth is, and it's not what people think, the training doesn't make you fitter. The training actually breaks your body down, and it's the recovery that allows your body to improve and recover and be stronger through repair so that you get this super compensation effect and you gain fitness slowly over time. And that's why recovery is so important for everybody, but particularly as an older athlete. Now, why it's more important at 60 is this. You're going to repair slower because your body's older. It just doesn't have the same repair capacity as it did when you were 30. That doesn't mean it wasn't important when you were 30, but you could just get away with not doing stuff then. That's not the same when you're in your late 50s and early 60s. The problem's compounded because you've got less of those repair hormones available, less testosterone and other hormones which help with the recovery process. So because of the reduced amount, it just takes longer for the process to be complete. So you either need to take longer recoveries or shorter blocks of training. And on top of that, if you're like me and you've been doing sport for 30, 40 years, it's likely that you've had a large amount of wear and tear. So you've got ankle joints that you've turned a few times. You maybe dislocated your shoulder falling off your bike or broken a few ribs or even just had bruises here, there and everywhere. But all of that damage that's accumulated over time takes its toll on your body. So things just take longer when you get older. So you need to pay more attention. Now, one way to do this and see where you're going with training to make sure you don't get too far into the red is to track some recovery variables. The best ones are heart rate, which has been available for ages, but now with more data available and more accurate tracking devices, heart rate variability is probably a better indicator of how you're recovering. And you need to look at what the trends are. Don't worry about what HRV is on one particular day. Look at what it's doing over a period of days. And if it's tracking downwards, maybe you need to interrupt your training block and get a bit more recovery. So you need to see it'll go down as you're training hard, and then as you're recovering well, it'll start to come back up. But over time, it will get a little bit higher in line with your fitness. The trackables, the wearables these days are also able to track with a great deal more accuracy things like sleep, and not just how much sleep you're getting. And if you're not focusing on sleep, then you should be getting at least 7 to 9 hours every night. But on top of that, it looks at what those components of sleep are like, the deep sleep and the REM, which are where the real recovery takes place. So track your readiness and be prepared to respond to that data if it's going in the wrong direction. And when we talk about recovery, most people think about backing off for a period of days every few weeks. I favour a 2 build weeks plus 1 recovery week pattern when I start with all athletes, but then we're open to adjusting. So some athletes do a week hard, a week easy. Some do 10 days hard and 4 days easy. Whatever it is, I think a shorter block of training with recovery inserted is better than trying to do 3 weeks. I've never favoured that even for younger athletes, because I think that 3rd week is often one of survival and surviving rather than thriving. But for older athletes, I'd probably rule that out completely. And in the recovery week, I definitely look to reduce volume by 30 to 40%. And I would cut out all intensity and reserve that week just for technique and zone 2 work. Speed works fine, but this is about turning the limbs over faster. And it's only for 10, 15 or 20 seconds max. And it's not about putting in any effort. It's about moving quickly. Okay, because you're trying to avoid creating more fatigue when you're trying to recover. Now, what enhances recovery are daily recovery habits. Deliberate breath work, taking 5 or 10 minutes out of your day to lie on a yoga mat and do a purposeful breathing program. I like the box breathing, 4 breaths or 4 count in, 4 count hold, 4 count to breathe out, and then 4 count hold again. Just keep doing that for a few minutes, and it's a nice introduction to meditation after that. If you want to get outside and feel like you're being more active, then go for a gentle walk. If you have a dog, that's great. Or if you want to go and have a conversation with your partner, go out for a walk in the park or in the woods. Recording what's going on in your life, not just your training, but in your life, is really good because it gives you an opportunity to get things off your chest and off your mind. There's some benefits to sleep come from that, but it also allows you to reflect in future. And when things are going well, you'll be able to see why they went well, and when they're not going so well, you'll be able to see what you were doing that meant perhaps they didn't go so well. On a more frequent basis, you might want to try hot-cold therapy, jumping in a sauna once a week, then into a cold plunge pool, or some people like to take cold showers every day. Whatever it is for you, they're all things that help you with relaxing, and they activate the sympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest, rather than that parasympathetic fight or flight, which we seem to be in too often in modern life. Don't forget to be in zone 0. It's not a training zone, it's an active recovery. You're not trying to get your heart rate up, you're trying to relax. So this is where you take the dog for a walk. And you remember, it's about movement, not grinding. So some gentle gardening will fit the bill here as well. And the payoff for all of this is you get better recovery, which means that you don't get injured or ill as often, so your consistency is improved, and those two together lead to progress over time. So don't think about the 100-day plan, think about the 1,000-day plan and seeing an increase in performance over many months rather than a few weeks. You won't go far wrong if you follow that tortoise approach to training rather than try the on-off approach of the hare. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please subscribe for more Ironman training tips for over 60s. There will be more coming up, including the next video, which will be up next week, which is nutrition for triathletes. And I'm going to show you how what you eat can enhance the recovery and the training that you do. And while you're there and looking below, please take a moment to comment. Why don't you tell me what your favourite recovery strategy is? Maybe it's one of the ones I've mentioned below, or maybe you've got one that you do that I didn't talk about. I'd love to hear about that. Whatever it is, I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video.